Hi, this is Hope, and I'm going to tell you about a dream I had on October 14th, right before I woke up. I call it the four tornadoes dream. I was waking up and the sun was shining, which is kind of weird because it's dark when I get up, generally on weekends too, because it's just hard to sleep in. So I got out of bed and I heard a noise and I looked around the corner of the bedroom and I saw a hallway window. Then I recognized the sound that was my dog scratching herself. I saw also my little cat trying to climb through a window screen door. At night we normally put her in a laundry room and she tries to push her way in, you know how cats are, so that's what I heard. Those are all normal activities for my pets. I looked back in the bedroom in my dream and said something to my husband about what time was it, since it was so sunny outside. I understood that there was a storm going on, but I thought it was strange that the sunlight was pouring into my bedroom despite the storm. As my husband tried to find the time, he has a clock behind him and was looking for that, I noticed that my pillow was in the corner of the bedroom. I thought it might have been tossed there, but I don't recall being pushed out of the bed or anything like being knocked out by an earthquake. It just was in the corner. I got my iPhone out, again trying to check the time, and the iPhone was working, but it was all messed up, and the time itself did not appear. My husband and I then walked to a living room with a big window in it. We looked out, and I could see that there was pitch black in the distance. I kind of leaned forward in my dream and could see that it was black in the distance. But it was not affecting us. I could see our entire yard perfectly, and in fact it was a very strange thing going on in the yard. This was really cool looking. About 40 feet above us outside was a solid cloud, and coming out of the cloud were four tornado-like objects that hung only a few feet off the ground. They were not spinning. In fact, it could be that they actually were tornadoes that were not spinning. That's kind of what they would look like. They were not doing any damage in my yard. These four tornadoes were lined up in front of me, but they were headed to my right. I could see three regular tornadoes, and the fourth one, the last one to my left, looked like it was made out of metallic objects, and the objects inside this tornado were revolving really, really slowly. That's the only thing that was actually moving out of all these four tornadoes individually, but altogether they were slowly moving to my right. And if I had to describe them even better, I really wish I could find a picture, but they looked like maybe a giant elephant trunk with the spout on the end, or maybe a tree trunk that was out of the ground with no roots. You know, the bottom of the tornadoes were a spout looking, and they were a little bit larger. Nothing was coming in or going out of them. Nothing was happening with them. I was not afraid at all to see any of this, but it sure was interesting looking. They were gray colored too, just really like a tornado, only not spinning. And I live in Tornado Alley in the United States, so I know. And I've heard a tornado, so I'm very familiar with them. Okay, so my interpretation of this is, first of all, I believe this applies to many of us, Bride. The iPhone indicates we'll have some kind of power. My pets indicate that, you know, they're safe throughout the ordeal, and we've been told that our pets will be taken care of during the 3 days of darkness, and I guess that's pretty much what I felt this might have been as an interpretation. I did not feel that in the dream. I felt the three regular tornadoes, I didn't feel they were a date. I didn't feel they were meant to be days or times. They were just, that's how many there were. And it could have been the 3 days of darkness because there was a storm. It wasn't affecting me. I could see totally outside. Interestingly enough, I was trying to look up a picture of this metal tornado, and I found there actually was a movie made called Metal Tornado. It did not do very good at the box office, but I have a link to what it means, which talks about a magnetic vortex, okay, which is another name for metal tornado. And without going into much detail, I'll let you search this on your own. CERN is a metallic vortex. In fact, I am wondering if that fourth tornado was supposed to be indicative of what CERN might do. It might act as a tornado and so devastate all the places around it, or it might actually bring tornadoes out. We certainly know they're coming in the tribulation. So I'm not really sure about that. But that's kind of my interpretation, because it was indeed moving slowly. It wasn't hurting me, but it could hurt others. Now, finally, I wanted to talk about the lightness that I could see, because I absolutely knew there was a storm. I could see the storm. I could see tornadoes, but it wasn't touching me. And in May 19th, 2012, Julie Wedby had a dream that she titled, "There is a Coming Darkness." And I'm just going to read it. To me, it's a confirmation of my dream. She says, "I dreamed that it was daytime, but pitch black everywhere outside. So black you could not see your hand in front of your face. It seemed to be caused as a result of fires burning and the thick black smoke, but I don't know for sure. I am told to read Revelation 8 and the opening of the seventh seal. It speaks of the fourth angel sounding his trumpet, and a third part of the sun, moon, and stars are darkened." Then she says, this is the interpretation. And this sounds like a word from God. There is a coming darkness that will envelop the earth, and men will die of fright from the terror of such darkness. My faithful, however, will operate under an anointing that will only come from those who seek us. My faithful, however, will operate under an anointing that will only come for those who seek us. In your dream, you were going about your business inside, while David, who is her husband, was working outside. Notice you did not need any other light source. When you looked at the air outside through the windows, you saw blackness, but you saw David working as usual, and his light in his body was all you saw. He had no trouble working outside and could see, because it was my light he was operating by. The same was true for you, and this is how it will be in your very near future. My anointing on my chosen ones will allow you to minister in a way you've never been able to before. Pray now, today, for this grace and this anointing for your family and loved ones. The time draws near. Prepare your hearts. We are with you always. Yeshua. Okay, so this is the end of my dream and, my video here. I just wanted to kind of share that with you on a video this time to explain it a little bit. Hopefully you get the idea of what I was seeing, but I do think it works together with CERN somehow, and that's pretty much it. I'm just going to leave it out there for you guys.